Welcome to the Lifetime Assembly channel. My name is John, and today I'm going to help you assemble your utility shed. This video will follow the steps outlined in your assembly manual that comes with your utility shed. If you've already begun and need help on a specific step, check the comments or description below for a timestamp associated with each step. Now let's take a look at what's inside the box. There are steps that require more than one person within this assembly, so be sure to have at least one other adult available. Before we begin the assembly process, let's take a look at some of the tools you'll need to complete the job. You'll need 7/16 socket, 3/8 socket, a rubber mallet, a hammer, a Phillips screwdriver, safety glasses, a drill. You may see us use an impact driver. If you decide to use one as well, make sure not to over-torque or over-tighten the hardware, and a Phillips bit, which is included. To make this easier, we're going to use a 7/16 wrench, a 3/8 wrench, and a socket adapter. It's crucial that you refer to the assembly manual to review the safety instructions for this build to prevent serious injury or property damage. It's important that you build your shed on a flat, level surface, otherwise you can expect issues during the assembly process. All right, let's get started. First, take your hinge tube and slide it into the bottom of the left door. The left door is the one with the Lifetime logo on it, and your hinge tube has a notch at both ends. If it's difficult to push through, go ahead and use a rubber mallet to tap it in. Now attach the locking hardware to the door by pushing the bolts through the thin layer of plastic in the holes. Take the left door channel and lay it on the back of the left door, making sure the small holes line up with the divots on the door. Now secure the door channel to the door using the 6 provided screws. Now we're going to attach the latches to the top and bottom of the door. Disregard the lettering and make sure it's oriented like this. Attach the front and rear handle pieces together, then secure to the door with the hardware. Insert a hinge tube into the bottom of the right door. The hinge tube is the one with the notches on both ends. If you're having a hard time getting the hinge tube to go all the way in, go ahead and tap it with a rubber mallet. Now you're going to slide the square tube into the bottom of the right door, but before you do so, make sure that the holes on the tube line up with the holes on the door. Push the square tube up until there's about 6 inches hanging out the bottom. Now take the end cap and insert it into the bottom of the square tube. Now push the square tube all the way up until it is flush with the bottom of the door. Now attach the front and rear handle pieces, then secure to the door with the hardware. Now attach the locking mechanism to the door with the hardware. Now lay the floor panels next to each other. Pick up one side, slide it under the edge of the other floor panel so the tabs will lock together. Secure the two panels together with the hardware. Be sure not to over-tighten. Now take a rear wall panel and set the tabs on the bottom into the slots on the floor panel. Now lock the wall panel into place by sliding it to the left. Now take the other rear wall panel and slide the tabs into the notches on the floor panel. Now slide the wall panel to the right to lock it into place. Now secure the two panels together with the hardware and be sure not to over-tighten. Now take the right rear corner wall panel and slide the three tabs at the bottom of the wall panel into the notches on the floor panel. To lock the corner panel into place, slide it forward. Now fold the corner panel and lean it outwards so that the tab at the bottom lines up with the notch on the floor panel and it's in front of the rear wall panels. Now secure the corner wall panel to the rear wall panel with the hardware and be sure not to over-tighten. Now take your wall hinge tubes and place a cap on one end of each tube. Remember, these tubes have no notches. Now take a wall hinge tube and insert it into the bottom of the right front corner wall panel, making sure the capped end is at the bottom. If you're having a hard time getting the tube all the way up, go ahead and tap it with a rubber mallet. Now insert the tabs at the bottom of the right front corner wall panel into the notches on the floor panel. To lock the wall panel into place, slide it towards the back of the shed. Now secure the right front corner wall panel to the rear corner wall panel with the hardware. Be sure not to over-tighten. Now slide the hinge cap onto the hinge tube, making sure it's oriented like this. Now fold the corner panel over so that the hinge tube lines up with the hole in the floor panel. Now tap the hinge tube down as far as it will go. Attach the left rear corner panel using the same method as you did for the right rear corner panel. When you bend the corner panel, make sure it goes behind the rear wall panel. Slide the hinge tube into the bottom of the left front corner wall panel, making sure the cap is at the bottom. Now attach the left front corner wall panel using the same method as the right front corner wall panel. To make this step easier, tap the hinge tube down so that it sticks through the hinge cap. That way, when you fold the corner panel over, the hinge tube lines up with the hole better. On the inside of the front corner panels, you're going to attach an L bracket, making sure the long side is touching the floor. Now attach an L bracket to each end of the two wall supports. Add the wall support channel to the sidewall, making sure the holes in the channel line up with the holes in the wall. Secure to the wall with the hardware in the bottom two holes. Secure the bracket to the floor panel with the hardware. Secure the rear wall supports to the rear wall, making sure the holes at the very end are at the top. Now add a nut and bolt to the top of each rear wall support. Be careful not to over-tighten the hardware. Now drill a self-tapping screw through the wall panel and the hinge tube. Align the holes in the roof beam with the holes on the underside of the roof panel and secure with the hardware. Be sure not to over-tighten the hardware. Now attach the header bar to the underside of the roof panel, making sure this hole is facing up. Be careful not to over-tighten the hardware. Be sure not to put a screw into the last hole on each end. Take your left door and slide your hinge tube onto the hinge cap, making sure the notches line up with the grooves on the hinge cap. Slide the hinge cap onto the hinge tubes at the top. Repeat the previous steps for the right door. For this step, you'll need to open the doors. With the help of another person, lift the roof panel onto the shed, making sure the header bar is over the doors. In preparation to attach the roof, attach the wall support channel to the roof beam. Secure the left rear side of the roof to the wall panel. It may be helpful to have someone applying downward pressure to the roof. When inserting your screws, start it at a 90-degree angle. Then, once it's started, go down to about a 45-degree angle and finish screwing that in. Repeat the previous step on the right side. Secure the right side of the roof panel to the wall panel using the hardware provided. Repeat the previous step for the left side. Now we're going to attach the header bar to the wall panel. It may be helpful to have someone apply downward pressure to the corner of the roof panel. Now we're going to attach the shelf. There are 4 shelf height options. Pick the one that works best for you and attach the shelf bracket with the provided hardware. Make sure you're putting the bracket on the same height option. Attach the triangular shelf bracket to the rear wall, making sure they're in the same height position as the previous brackets. Snap the support tubes into the bottom of the shelf. When installing the shelf, make sure the parts identifier, GEL, is on the left side of the shed. Now secure the shelf to the brackets with the hardware provided. Finish securing the wall support to the wall by using the holes that have corresponding holes in the wall panel. To install the wall hooks, place the tab into the channel and press down to lock into place. Now that you've finished building your shed, if the doors aren't level, go ahead and take the provided shims and place them under the opposite corner of the lowest door. Thank you for watching this video on how to assemble your lifetime utility shed. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. For more content like this, subscribe to our channel. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to our customer service team and check out our other awesome products at lifetime.com.